approximately 10 years of legal battle, actor Sooraj Pancholi was acquitted by the special CBI court today in the Jiah Khan case. This case started on actually June 3rd, 2013, when Jiah Khan was found hanging by a dupatta at her residence, following which Mumbai police was called in. It was in fact later on, after a few days, found that there was a suicide note which was also written. However, it was Jiah Khan's mother, Rabia Khan, who approached the Bombay High Court requesting for CBI to take over this case. In fact, her demand was also that FBI and other international agencies should look into this case, but that was not accepted. CBI started the investigation a few years later in this case. However, what has now been seen is that the special CBI court which gave the order said that due to paucity of evidences, Sooraj Pancholi is being acquitted. Now, when you speak of this case, it was just 3 years back was when the Sessions Court, which was hearing this case, said that considering it's a CBI case, they cannot give order in this case, which is where the case was handed over to CBI. A few months back, the lawyers of Sooraj Pancholi had reached out to the special CBI court saying that there were just four witnesses left to be examined, which is why the case should be expedited. And 10 years later, we see that this order is coming. Of course, now the court has allowed Jiah Khan's mother, Rabia Khan, to approach a higher court in case she feels that the order of this court is not acceptable to her, which of course is a right that's been granted to her.
What is your first reaction on the judgment that has come just now?
It's not shocking for me because this was expected, and it was never a case of 306. It was a wrong charge. It is a case of murder. It is 302, and now it makes it more easy for me, in fact, to bring my 302 to the court and show exactly what CBI has not done. CBI has deliberately overlooked. They did not have evidence for abetment. So why were they pursuing abetment? They had enough chances, not to pursue with abetment and change the charges, but they did not do it. So now I have got the road open to me that I will go ahead and do my needful that I need to do for my daughter.
What are the charges they should have pressed, which you think?
302, murder from the very beginning. I said this is a case of murder. I'm in a wrong court. So I respect Honorable Court who has given this decision, because the prosecution has not presented any evidence, because prosecution had no evidence of 306. So don't you think so? It makes a lot of sense.
You have been fighting this for over 10 years now. Yes. There seems to be a closure in some sense because there's a verdict. Yes. What about you? Do you see this as closure, or do you see this as a further battle?
No, this is the beginning of the battle.
So you'll continue to fight,
yes,
you're saying. What will be your next step?
Battle, and Jiah will get justice. Please don't give up hope. She will get justice.
What will be your next step?
I will take all the evidences and go to the court.
Which
go
court
to the High Court, go to Supreme Court, whichever. I had been running for 10 years. Maybe they want me to work harder. I will work harder.
What needs to be seen now is that this case, which was long pending for 10 years, has led to an acquittal for Sooraj Pancholi. When you speak of this case, there were various twists and turns in this case. This particular suicide note, which was found at the residence of Jiah Khan, was found a few days later, which is where the Mumbai police started investigating that case, following which Sooraj Pancholi was arrested. He stayed in the jail for approximately 22 days. He was charged with abetment to suicide in that case, section IPC 306, which in fact was also carried over by CBI in their charge sheet as well. However, evidences have been lacking when it comes to the court investigation. There have been 22 witnesses who were examined, which included doctors, in fact, mother of Jiah Khan, Rabia Khan, as well Jiah Khan's sister. All of these people were people whose witnesses were examined in this case in the entire long run. What in fact needs to be seen is that the next course of action that will be taken by Jiah Khan's mother, Rabia Khan, because she in a statement has said that she would be approaching higher court. The legal team has 90 days to approach the next court against the order of this court. But we saw that a last minute delay also was caused in the order, wherein a letter was given by Jiah Khan's mother, Rabia Khan, yesterday night. The submission was made before the court, but she again repeated the same thing that she'd been saying for all this while. She has said that this is not a case of suicide, but a case of murder. Homicide is what she's stating here, and she's saying that the investigating agencies did not really piece together evidences, right from DNA samples to other evidences that are required, that the investigative agencies should have paid heed to, which is what has led to this case to where it is now. So this demand, in fact, continues by Rabia Khan, wherein she said that it's a case of murder, and she demands inquiry for her daughter further. However, for time being, until they approach the next court, the relief continues for Sooraj Pancholi, who's been acquitted by the special CBI court. We speak to him and understand, sir, when we speak of this case, clearly the judge mentioned there was paucity of evidences in this case. So what are these evidences that he's talking about? What are the evidences that did not stand in the court?
Since day one, there has been no evidence against Mr. Sooraj Pancholi. I'm talking about since 2013 till 2023. This matter was investigated by Bombay police thoroughly. This was investigated by the Central Bureau of Investigation in minute details. The matter had gone to the Honorable Bombay High Court on many occasions. It has travelled to Honorable Supreme Court. Every aspect of the matter has been verified. There has been no evidence against Sooraj Pancholi. Till date, prosecution has examined 22 witnesses. All the 22 witnesses failed to even prima facie establish a case against him.
So we speak of the fact that there was a suicide note that was found. There was an investigation done by the CBI. So what do you think went in the favor of Sooraj when all these things were in fact pinpointed by the complainant against him?
See, first of all, the suicide note was not seized by the police. When the incident took place, the police visited the house. They searched for a note. They did not find any note. That's very, very important. After that, after 4 days, some witness finds a suicide note, so-called. The suicide note does not carry any name. It has not been addressed to anybody. When it was handed over to the police, the CBI verified the contents, the handwriting of the notebook and the diary, and sent it to a science laboratory for forensic science analysis. The report of the handwriting expert says the author of the notebook, the author of the diary, is the same person who has written the note. Now, during the trial, Rabia Khan has admitted in her evidence that the handwriting and notebook is hers.
So there was this letter which was given by Jiah Khan's mother last minute when they were speaking of DNA samples not being taken by CBI. Allegations against Mumbai police for not conducting investigation. What do you have to say on that?
These allegations are already decided and adjudicated by the Honorable Bombay High Court. The judgment is binding upon us. The Bombay High Court has rejected all these allegations. It will be contempt of the court to even speak about it.
So when we say now the court has in fact allowed her to approach the higher court, they're planning to go to Mumbai High Court. So what do you have to say on that?
So that is the right of any complainant. It is not that the court has allowed, it is her right. She can go to the Honorable High Court. If the High Court admits it and if notice is issued, we will appear.
So lastly, it's been 10 years a long battle for Sooraj. What do you think, now that he's acquitted, what would his statement on your behalf be?
He has gone through a lot emotionally. First of all, he lost the person whom he loved the most. You understand the human angle. He is the person, the first accused in the country who made applications to the court saying, please expedite the trial. If I am guilty, convict me. If I am innocent, acquit me. But because of the delaying tactics of the prosecution, it got delayed for 10 years. Obviously, it is a big relief for him. But his prime time, the 10 years of his life, nobody can give it back to him.
That was Prashant Patil, the advocate of Sooraj Pancholi with us, who spoke to us exclusively. Apart from that, he also mentioned that once Rabia Khan, that is Jiah Khan's mother, approaches High Court, they'd be willing to cooperate for the investigation as well. We have with us Rabia Khan's lawyer, Shekhar Jagtap. We'd speak to him and understand what their plan of action is now, considering that the order is out. We'd speak to Shekhar, sir, please tell us that now that we've seen that Sooraj Pancholi has been acquitted because there were paucity of evidences against him. So what is the next plan of action?
Considering the paucity of evidence is the basis of his acquittal, my client has instructed me to study the judgment and on the basis of that judgment and provision of law, prefer an appeal against an acquittal. As the Supreme Court of India has already confirmed in one of the judgments that right of victim is not limited only to participate in the trial court, but also can carry up to Supreme Court of India. So as far as the verdict of acquittal is concerned, the Honorable Special Court under CBI has confirmed that the acquittal is just because paucity of evidence, that means it's the benefit of doubt. It is not a clean acquittal on merit. So far as this acquittal is concerned, we need to find out that which evidence was collected and what reason was given. My client had always a reason to consider that the cause of death is not just a suicide. She had given lots of material to the CBI from time to time to compare that how the Juhu police station was not properly investigating. She had got a verdict from the High Court to change the investigation agency from local court, Juhu police station, Juhu police to the CBI. But CBI just carried forward the same investigation line, which is incorrect. So let us see now that we will be able to prefer an appeal with proper grounds.
So one more question. We've seen that you all had in fact made the submission stating whatever you've said, which also included the fact that the DNA reports were not scanned well, DNA was not taken, and CBI came in only later. So can you also elaborate on this submission that was made last minute? Do you think that will also be considered later on in the next appeal that you all go further?
I may not be able to point out what grounds would be taken, but the primary ground which we had taken in the High Court also while challenging the Special Court's order while not allowing further investigation will be one of the grounds. It's a common sense that if a person commits a suicide and the instrument through which the suicide is committed, that was dupatta, it was never sent for the chemical analysis report. So on the basis of just photograph, the report was prepared and submitted, which is actually not a proper transparent investigation. Now what precluded CBI is $1 million question, but it seems that definitely they withheld themselves from conducting a fair investigation.
So do you think 10 years is a long time, and after that also there's an acquittal that takes place? In that case, Rabia Khan, who's been fighting so long, so what do you think her situation is?
See, Indian judicial system is overburdened. This is certainly unreasonable time for any mother to wait for the justice. And not only Mrs. Rabia Khan, but any person who is a victim of crime, longer the duration is certainly creating a hurdle for the justice, and uncertainty kills a person. She has really showed her patience and fought for a long time. And it was certainly not a very easy task for her to bear the patience to fight against the system.